How are you doing? Hope that all is well with you. Welcome to another episode of Wisdom Moments on K24 with Ms. CJ Atemo. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel, CJ Atemo? If you have not done so, kindly go ahead and do the same. Remember that every time that we put up these videos, there will be notifications of those, so you just need to set notifications and you will get to know anytime the videos are uploaded. Watch the videos, like them, share them, leave comments on them, and also get in touch with me in case there is something that you'd want me to address or something that you'd want me to clarify. Get in touch. Follow me on every social media platform, that is CJ Atemo, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and as well as connecting with me on LinkedIn. There is email address cjatsol@gmail.com for those who would feel comfortable or more comfortable using the mail, especially if you want something addressed, you want to ask certain questions, you want to make certain inquiries, then you go ahead. Reach me on that cjatsol@gmail.com as well. Well, we've been talking about managing negative emotions. We've talked about anger, which we did 2 days, talked about the validity of it, and then how it can become detrimental to both you and the people around you, how it can tinker the decision-making process that you have. And then we've talked about unforgiveness as well. Today, I want to talk about anxiety. Because, ladies and gentlemen, anxiety can really affect you negatively. There are people who will have all these kind of things like, the panic attacks. Sometimes, especially when they have things that are important or significant for them, and then they just begin to panic. They lose sleep, they lose appetite, they act in certain ways, they don't know whether they are excited or they're not. It's difficult to tell because they get anxious. They get anxious because somehow innately or remotely they begin to worry about things that they have no control over. There is no better way to torment yourself than to worry so much about things that you have no control over. When the things are way beyond your control, all you will do is to break your mind down and your emotions thinking about it, yet you cannot do something about it. You have to find ways to calm yourself if you know that you will battle with anxious moments at some point. There are people who have walked into interview rooms, and even though they were very well prepared, when they walked into the interview room, they were hit with anxiety and they could not perform. So they will have a very bad appraisal around their interview, not because they are not skilled, not because they're not knowledgeable, not because they're not suitable for the job or the position that there is, but because they just got anxious, they forgot everything that they needed to say, they got into a zone that was absolutely out of that room, they could not be effective. It is dangerous because you can imagine if you were on the road and then you suffer a panic attack, what happens to you? If you were left in a space where there is danger and then you suffer a panic attack, what is that? What does that mean to you? Generally, for people who are battling with anxiety and panic attacks, you have to seek help. There's not even the 5 steps that I would share with you over here right now. You've got to seek help because each person suffers that based on different stimuli, and the stimuli could vary from things that they have gone through before, how they are wired. It could be anything. And so each and every person has got to seek help when they know that they are battling with things like anxiety. That's one of the first ways for you to manage that anxiety, that you've got to find help and you've got to seek you've got to seek a counselor out there or a therapist and begin to find out what is the root of your anxiety. Some people's root may be the things that they have suffered in the past. It could be how they were treated or handled when they were growing up. So it could be traumas that have never been dealt with that trigger this anxiety every time. So anytime they're faced with a situation that represents something that they have been in before, then they just will trigger that. For some people, it is probably because they cannot handle something like failure. So when they're walking into a space and they do not know the outcome, they begin to panic. They will be very anxious about it because they cannot handle any other outcome apart from the outcome that they have. I sat with somebody recently and they told me about certain plans that they had, and then they started saying, so what if it doesn't work? How do I handle that? See how sometimes you can become a prisoner of something that has not even manifested, because the truth is, what if it works? It could work. And people will walk out of relationships just because they panicked and they freaked out. People will walk out of job opportunities. Sometimes somebody will be thinking, this is too big for me, it is too good for me. And they just panic. Anxiety can cost you so much. It will make you make certain decisions that you probably would regret later. One of the things that you've got to do, especially, just from a basic layman perspective, just as we said about anger, is that when you get into the place where you are anxious, you are not supposed to do anything, just like with anger. And this is basically true for most of the negative emotions that you would have, that you do not allow yourself to get driven by an emotion that would probably lead you into the ditch. So when you're in the place of panic, do not do anything. You hit pause. You pause. You do not make decisions while you're panicking. You do not do something while you're panicking. You can imagine if somebody panicked while they were taking care of a patient who was on the operating table. They could make so many mistakes. You can imagine if the captain of a flight just panics when they're getting into a storm, because that panic is going to cause you to lose sound judgment. It makes you forget the things that you need to do. The greatest decisions are made in the place of calmness, because in calmness you are able to see both perspective and you are able to project as well. You can have a 360-degree view, but when you begin to panic, you are focusing only on the thing that you are dealing with, and you will become subjective in your decision making because you're not looking at the whole picture. There are people who will be feeling like somebody is about to leave them, or something bad is about to happen, or they're going to lose their money, and they become paralyzed because they're always in the mode of panic. They will be thinking about things and their heartbeat just begins to go so fast, and they'll be having high pressure, and they will be sweating, and they will not be sleeping, probably because something needs to happen the next day. You've got to find help when it comes to the matters of anxiety, because it is destructive if it is not taken care of. It is destructive. It doesn't have any positives to it. It is destructive. So when you get into the anxious modes, you just need to slow down. If it means that you need to postpone something, go ahead and postpone it. If it means that you've got to talk to somebody and let them know, look, I am not in good shape right now. I feel that I am anxious and I cannot make decisions right now, or I cannot function right now. You need to do that. If you've got to seek help somewhere, you've got to seek professional help, go ahead and seek it. It becomes worse when that anxiety keeps on building and building and building. See, one of the things about our emotions and the energies that the emotions release is that sometimes you actually attract what you feel. You attract what you feel. What that means is that if you begin to expect that something is going to go wrong, things could actually go wrong. And then you will think that you had an intuition or a premonition of things going wrong, yet it is the energy you release that attracted the things that are going wrong. So you will be affirming yourself and saying, look, I knew things would go wrong, yet things went wrong because you expected them to go wrong. It is like when you're having an argument with somebody and then you tell them, I know you're going to leave. I know you're going to leave. I know you're going to do this. And then one day they get tired of trying to prove to you that they're not going to leave. And then they actually leave. Then you say, you see, I knew you were going to leave. It wasn't that they were going to leave. It's just that because you were so anxious and not present in that moment, they could not stay around you anymore. So if you are somebody who battles and deals with anxiety a lot, you need to seek help. Talk to somebody. Learn to slow down. Just learn to calm down. You don't have to make all decisions right now. Find help and deal with the negative emotion of anxiety. This is CJ Atemo. Thank you so much for watching Wisdom Moments on K24 with me. Till the next time, keep it right here with the Sage.